Tyler Brooks wiped the grease from his hands and stared at the quantum drive with frustration. 3 hours into this repair job and the diagnostic readings still made no sense. The drive was functioning perfectly according to every test. Yet the ship's navigation system kept throwing error codes. He stood in the engine room of the diplomatic vessel Starlight, currently in orbit around Earth. This was supposed to be a simple maintenance call, but nothing about working on alien technology was ever simple. The Valkyrie built their ships with precision that made human engineering look like children playing with blocks. Tyler grabbed his tablet and ran another scan. The Valkyrie were leaving tomorrow, taking their ambassador back home after 5 years of negotiations. Thanks to her work, humanity would finally join the Galactic Council. It was the biggest diplomatic achievement in human history, and here he was making sure their ship didn't malfunction on the journey home. A soft sound echoed through the corridor outside the engine room. Tyler paused, listening. It came again, faint and strange. He set down his tools and followed the sound through the pristine white hallways of the ship. The Valkyrie vessel was beautiful in a cold, perfect way. Everything gleamed. Every surface was smooth. There were no personal touches, no signs that living beings actually inhabited this place. It felt more like a museum than a home. The sound led him to an observation deck he hadn't noticed during his initial tour. The door was slightly open, and soft blue light spilled into the hallway. Tyler hesitated. He was supposed to stay in the engine room, but something about that sound pulled at him. He pushed the door open carefully. A figure stood at the massive window overlooking Earth. The planet hung in space like a blue and white jewel, continents visible beneath swirling clouds. The figure was tall and slender, with pale lavender skin that seemed to glow faintly in the starlight. She wore elegant robes of deep purple, and her white hair fell in a straight line down her back. Ambassador Lixara, the most important Valkyrie diplomat in the galaxy, was crying. Tyler froze. He knew enough about Valkyrie culture to understand what he was seeing. Emotion was forbidden for their officials. Control was everything. Showing weakness meant disgrace, removal from office, social exile. Lixara turned suddenly, her large violet eyes meeting his. Tears streaked down her face, glowing faintly like liquid starlight. For a moment, neither of them moved. She should have been angry. She should have ordered him out. Instead, she just looked tired. "You will report this," she said quietly. Her English was perfect with only the slightest musical accent. "I understand. You have your duty." Tyler pulled off his jacket without thinking and held it out to her. "It's cold up here," he said. Lixara stared at the jacket like it was the most confusing thing she had ever seen. "You should report me," she repeated. "Why would I do that?" Tyler asked. He draped the jacket over her shoulders when she didn't take it. "Everyone cries sometimes. It's normal. Not for my people." She pulled the jacket tighter around herself, a very human gesture. We are taught from childhood to master our emotions. Officials especially must show perfect control. If my government learns of this, my career ends. Everything I have worked for becomes meaningless. Tyler walked to the window and looked down at Earth. "That seems like a pretty terrible rule." "It is our way," Lixara said. But she didn't sound convinced. They stood in silence for a while. Tyler had no idea what protocol said about this situation. He was just an engineer who fixed broken things. Comforting alien diplomats wasn't in his job description. "Tomorrow I go home," Lixara said finally. "The negotiations are complete. Humanity will join the council. My mission is successful." "That's good, right?" Tyler asked. "Yes." She touched the window, her long fingers spreading against the glass. "I have spent 5 years here. 5 years learning about your people, your cultures, your beautiful chaotic way of living, and now I must return to Velkar and marry Chancellor Theron, a political arrangement made before I left." "You don't want to marry him," Tyler said. It wasn't a question. "Want?" Lixara smiled sadly. "Such a human concept. My people do not marry for want. We marry for genetic compatibility, political advantage, social stability. Theron is ambitious and cold, but he is suitable." "That sounds awful," Tyler said honestly. Lixara laughed, a sound like wind chimes. "It does, doesn't it? Your people have taught me many things, Tyler Brooks. I read your file when you came aboard. You have clearance to work on diplomatic vessels because you are trustworthy and skilled, but your file does not say why you became an engineer. Tyler was surprised she knew his name. My sister died in a colony accident 8 years ago. Equipment failure. The maintenance crew had cut corners, used cheap parts. After that, I decided I would never let someone die because of faulty engineering. Every ship I work on, every system I repair, I imagine my sister depending on it. I make it perfect. You carry grief and transform it into purpose, Lixara said softly. That is very human. My people would tell you to suppress the grief, forget the pain, move forward with logic alone. But humans embrace their pain and let it shape them. I have come to believe your way is stronger. Your emotions don't make you weak, Tyler said. Being sad about leaving a place you love, dreading a marriage you don't want, those feelings are normal. Feeling them despite your training, that takes courage. Lixara looked at him with something like wonder. No one has ever said such things to me before. Then you've been talking to the wrong people, Tyler told her. They talked for hours after that. Tyler should have returned to the engine room, but the repairs could wait. Lixara told him about Velkar, about crystalline cities that sang in the wind, about purple skies and silver oceans. She described the rigid beauty of her world, the efficiency and order that governed everything. But she also talked about loneliness, about attending perfect formal dinners where no one said anything real, about achieving the highest honors in her field while feeling empty inside, about watching humans laugh and cry and love with such openness, and wanting desperately to know what that freedom felt like. Tyler shared human poetry with her, reading from his tablet. He played music, everything from classical symphonies to rock songs, watching her face light up with each new discovery. She had studied human culture academically, but experiencing it like this informally and honestly was different. This song, she said as a gentle piano melody played, it speaks of losing someone and missing them. The sadness is beautiful. My people would never create art about pain. We would consider it self-indulgent. Pain is part of being alive, Tyler said. Hiding from it doesn't make it go away. It just makes you numb. I have been numb for a very long time, Lixara admitted. Until I came here. Until tonight. A chime sounded through the ship. Lixara's expression changed, becoming guarded. My security chief will be looking for me soon. I told him I needed meditation time before tomorrow's departure. Will you be okay? Tyler asked. I will return to my duties. I will go home. I will marry Theron and serve the Empire with distinction. It is what I was trained for. She handed his jacket back. Thank you, Tyler Brooks. This evening has been a gift I did not know I needed. Tyler took the jacket but caught her hand. It doesn't have to be this way. You said yourself that your mission here is complete. What if you stayed? Stayed? Lixara looked shocked. I cannot. I have obligations. You have options, Tyler said. Request asylum. Or better yet, request to stay as the permanent Velkari ambassador to Earth. Your people just spent 5 years negotiating our entry into the Council. They need someone here who understands both cultures. Who better than you? It is unprecedented, Lixara whispered. But he could see the hope kindling in her eyes. Humans do unprecedented things all the time, Tyler said. It's kind of our specialty. Lixara paced the observation deck, her mind clearly racing. If I requested to stay, my government would be surprised. But they could not refuse without insulting humanity. The political dynamics would actually favor approval. I would be here representing Velkari interests, maintaining my honor and duty. And you wouldn't have to marry someone you don't love, Tyler added. She stopped pacing and looked at him. Why do you care what happens to me? We only met tonight. Because everyone deserves to be happy, Tyler said simply. And because I've spent the last few hours talking with someone who is brilliant and kind and brave enough to feel things her whole culture tells her not to feel. That person shouldn't have to spend her life being miserable just because some ancient tradition says emotions are weakness. Lixara moved closer to him. Your people value such strange things. Individual happiness over social order. Personal choice over duty. It should create chaos, yet somehow you thrive. We're a mess sometimes, Tyler admitted. But we're a happy mess. She smiled, really smiled, and it transformed her face. I want to be a happy mess, she said. I want to stay. The next hours passed in a blur. Lixara drafted her formal request with Tyler's help, carefully wording it to emphasize the diplomatic advantages. The Velkari government would see the logic even if they didn't understand her personal motivations. When her security chief finally found them in the observation deck, Lixara calmly explained she had been consulting with the human engineer about cultural matters related to her new proposal. The chief was suspicious.